Hello, my name is David Jackson. This presentation is for Organizational Behavior MBA 608 at Barry University. Have you ever been in a social setting and there's one person you notice has some special aura about them? Some call it the X factor, some call it je ne sais quoi. Whatever it is, it exudes in their ability to interact and mesh with people. The person seems to have the Midas touch with everyone that they come into contact with. You can just sense something special about them. This special ingredient transcends settings and is with the person wherever they go. The characteristic generally is associated with a winning record in all facets of life. For the sake of this presentation, we will focus on career. The aura I'm referring to is emotional intelligence. During the presentation, we will take a look into how emotional intelligence correlates with good leadership as well as overall business performance. What is a leader, or what makes a leader? In a Harvard Business Review study, Daniel Goleman and his colleagues conducted research on how emotional intelligence functions in a work environment. The focus of research lasted for about a year and examined the relationship between emotional intelligence and the effective performance, especially in leaders. The passage takes a look into how emotional intelligence ties into organizational success through great leadership. Outstanding leaders can be linked to strong performance, and that's not just individual performance. That's from a team perspective as well. Leadership transcends all businesses and all organizations. It's a characteristic that can take you far and make an organization succeed. What makes a leader? According to Daniel Goleman, leaders have a common thread that links them together. They have a high degree of emotional intelligence. Technical skills and business acumen are important as well, but they're considered more so entry-level requirements. Emotional intelligence, according to the textbook, is defined as the ability to detect and to manage emotional cues and information. I'll go a step further to say emotional intelligence is a combination of personal and interpersonal skills. The skills help govern yourself and handle relationships with others. Goleman makes mention that a person can have the best training in the world, an analytical mind, as well as an endless level of intelligence, but unfortunately, they won't be successful. In some ways, I can agree with that because you need to have something that connects you with people and the groups that you're working with. How is emotional intelligence evaluated? Emotional intelligence is identified through multiple channels. Per the article, psychologists are hired by organizations to develop competency models. The models aid in identifying and providing trainings to promote high potential employees. Gorman developed a system to understand what capabilities steered outstanding performance. He grouped his findings into three categories: purely technical, cognitive abilities, and competencies demonstrating emotional intelligence. An example of technical skills would be finance. An example of cognitive abilities would be analyzing problems. And an example of emotional intelligence would be partnering with others to lead some form of change within your department or within some form or some area of an organization. Excuse me. Per the article, it makes mention that emotional intelligence is comprised of 5 components: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skill. Emotional intelligence can be segmented into 2 sections: self-management and relationship management. Under self-management are self-regulation, self-awareness, and motivation. Under social skill are empathy and social skills. Under relationship management is empathy and social skills. It's a great tool, a great characteristic, and something that is needed in business and in life in general. Are emotional skills something we're born with? I think to some degree we have varying levels of emotional intelligence that we come into the world with. The skills can be improved by practice, however. as well as feedback from colleagues and leadership. Of the two options, I can appreciate good feedback. The information is beneficial as you can compare your perceived strengths to see if they are in alignment with external sources. In addition, you can identify some idiosyncrasies that we're unaware and make the alterations if need be. An interesting fact would be, according to the text, emotional intelligence increases with age. So maturity plays a huge role in emotional intelligence. Not to say that you don't have it at a younger age, but just with experience comes age. Over the years, you've had various situations that have shaped you and developed you to become more of a mature person and also knowing how to navigate through a certain situation. Emotional intelligence is born largely in neurotransmitters of the brain limbic system, which governs feelings, impulses, and drives. I truly think emotional intelligence is somewhat scientific, if you will. Research indicates that the limbic system learns best through motivation, extended practice, and feedback, as I mentioned earlier. To enhance emotional intelligence, organizations must focus their training to include this system. They must help people break the old behavioral habits to break into something new. As humans, we have the tendency of repetitiously doing things over and over again and not branching out to do something new. In order for an organization to be truly successful, we need to incorporate emotional intelligence, not just at a senior level in management, but even other levels as well. The first element of emotional awareness, emotional intelligence, is self-awareness. People who have a high degree of self-awareness recognize how their feelings affect them, other people, and their job performance. Someone who is highly self-aware knows where he or she is headed and why they're going there. The decision of someone who is self-aware align with their values. They don't just make impulsive decisions. Self-aware people can also be recognized by their self-confidence. They have a pretty strong grasp of their capabilities and are less likely to set themselves up to fail. For example, volunteering for something even though you know that you have a full plate already. And even if they do put themselves in that situation, they know when to ask for help. Self-awareness is pivotal in the elements of emotional intelligence. The second element is self-regulation. Self-regulation consists of having self-control in those times where someone may get under your skin or some scenarios where you're unaware on how to just maneuver in certain environments. Trustworthy is another characteristic. They are very adaptable as well. That falls all under self-regulation. Self-management skills are related to emotions you're feeling at any given time in any circumstance and how well you manage them. The study mentions that biological impulses drive our emotions. Self-regulation can be compared to ongoing conversation with yourself. People who are controlling their feelings and impulses are more reasonable. They have the ability to walk into a room and create an environment of trust. The third element of emotional intelligence would be motivation. This happens to be my favorite. Someone who's highly motivated, they're driven to exceed expectations. They have a strong desire for achievement. They seek out creative challenges and love to learn, as well as take pride in doing a job well done. In other words, they're paying attention to the scoreboard. Leaders with these traits can build a team of managers around them with the same traits. I identify most with this element because of my determined mindset. I've always been willing to challenge myself and to do more than the status quo. That's one thing that I can't stand is just remaining constant and plateau in life, relationships, finances, whatever the case is. I always try to make myself better by motivating myself to achieve something more than what I've set for myself by setting goals. The fourth element of emotional intelligence would be empathy. Someone who is empathetic or a leader who's empathetic considers others' feelings when making a decision. Just being sensitive to someone else's emotions. Empathy helps us to develop a stronger understanding of people's situations. It includes understanding and developing others, having a service orientation, and leveraging diversity and political awareness. Empathy is particularly important in today's environment as a component of leadership for at least three reasons: increasing the use of a team, the rapid pace of globalization, and also growing the need for talent to retain talent. The last element of emotional intelligence is social skills. Social skill is someone who has the ability to build rapport with others and move them into a desired direction. They're usually persuasive, they have people skills, and just all around well-liked person. Social skills encompass a wide range of relationship and interpersonal skills. These range from leadership through to influencing and persuading and managing conflict, as well as working in a team. Developing your social skills, being easy to talk to, and being a good listener can be components that prepare you to the next level. We all would like to be in an environment with someone who has social skills. Some of the managerial implications of emotional intelligence: they affect work output. Teams are generally more prone to be successful with good leadership. They have improved satisfaction from direct reports. It's a great working environment to be amongst employees and management that have that special characteristics. Communications is better. The lines of communication are open and everyone has an understanding of what goals they're to accomplish, what tasks are out there, and have clear expectations. Another implication of emotional intelligence would be leveraging your talent. When you have a leader, or being a leader who has the ability to have that emotional intelligence, you can tap into someone's strengths and weaknesses and play towards that and help build them up to become successful, not only for their own personal development, but also for the organization. Emotional intelligence plays a significant role in managing employee relationships and their performance. Emotional intelligence can be learned. Granted, the process is not easy. It takes time, and most of all, it takes commitment. But the benefit that comes from having a well-developed emotional intelligence, both for the individual and for the organization, make it worth the effort. In closing, the paper was a good paper. It allowed me to see certain aspects of myself where I can see that I can improve. It also exposed me exposed me to various circumstances as well as instances where I can apply these particular characteristics. I've been in an organization currently that I work for about 5 years, and I'm in a leadership position. Granted, I know how to do certain things and how to handle certain situations, but applying these elements to my day-to-day activities will make me more of a success, and also to be able to move up in the ranks in the organization. It was a great read. I'm glad I had a chance to take a deep dive into it, and I'm looking forward to learning more throughout the course. So thank you so much for your time. This is David Jackson once again, and have a great one.